You're all set.
So we can call the meeting to order. So.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so. What's that?
Liberty and justice for all who can afford it.
Okay, so updates to the agenda, we have the fire department. I thought I had a list of things that might have been a different meeting I had updates for. Do you have any other updates?
Yeah,
Mike?
no, that's the only one for this one.
Does
That was
anyone
water
else have
board last
anything
night.
else? Okay, so we're going to go to public comment. Anybody here for public comment? Okay,
I think you're on the agenda.
you might be on the
Yeah, you're
agenda
on.
for ATV.
Yeah.
You're on the agenda.
Yep.
Do you want to go ahead?
Sure. From here,
Oh, you can sit here if you want. But be careful.
sit next to you. Who's that? Who's that?
That's Mike. That's
That's
Mike.
Mike? Where's he?
On the computer in Delaware.
Okay. All right, third time's a charm, they say. You guys know why I'm here. I was here before. Last time I spoke to your town manager, he told me to try again before I went to court. So here I am. My situation is this. Twice I lost my driveway. And even though I know this last rain, a lot of people lost their driveways. I did try with FEMA to get money, but because I'm a part-time resident, I didn't qualify. And quite frankly, it was the fault of the road crew that caused me most of my problems. For 10 years, they did nothing on that road. They didn't clean out the drainage ditch. They didn't clean out the culverts. And in this last year, what they did was they mowed the side of the road and left the stuff in the ditch. I went to them and said to them, when are you going to remove that? They said, we can't remove that. We have so many roads here, we can't do that. So the water had no place to go, but now my driveway. Cost me $1,600. As I said, it's the second time in 10 years I had to pay because of that. And I think the town should reimburse me on it. That's all I have to say.
So the insurance company has already looked at it and the insurance company did,
They said no. I already
they did
said that.
deny it. So that's what we have to go with.
I mean, that's what you have to
We,
go with.
we are sticking with our insurance company. We are sticking with that and
What do you mean you're sticking with the insurance company?
we are not going to be making a payment for this.
I understand. Okay. I'll see you in court.
Thank you. Are you here for public comment?
I not sure where you're at. I just came to introduce myself. I've got some property here in town. My apartment's in. We can talk about some possible funding. Affordable housing community.
I think that's with NVDA, right, Mike? That's on the planning board.
For funding for housing, that would definitely be a NVDA, but you should probably get in touch with me and we could talk about it and we can figure out if there's anything that we can find for you.
That'd be great. I reached out to Allison.
Yeah.
I left a message for this week. Basically,
And it's Kyle.
Kyle Forrest. What's that?
You got Mike's number?
I do not.
I'm gonna give you your number, Mike. 802? Oh, you got it.
I got it memorized.
You got it memorized. Want to say it out loud?
Yep.
802-323-6040. And his email is
It's okay. It's going to be in the newspaper.
Yeah, maybe not.
at
Hmm.
Brighton BT. .gov.
Thank you.
Yeah. Since there's no other public comment, we're going to move on to the ATV oh no, I gotta move on to the fire department. We gotta put them up. Fire away, and then we'll go to that. We're gonna, otherwise I forget,
To go back.
Okay, so kind of got a little off track because we weren't on the agenda, but we're here with the truck committee. I'm just gonna read this quickly to introduce what we're doing instead of mumble and jumble for an hour or so. But first of all, I want to thank you for allowing us time for your meeting to discuss this important topic with you. As we discussed briefly at this year's fire department budget meeting, all of our trucks are getting on in years. Fortunately, we do have a fire truck replacement fund to provide a start for the funding necessary to make improvements for our fleet. Given that, in late winter, I appointed an apparatus replacement committee to begin looking into our vehicle age, condition, and inventory, and issue a report on where we need to be going. We're here this evening to start the process and share the results of some of the reports and receive your guidance and assistance as to where to go from here. So basically, we started a truck committee just to look at what we need. We're obviously not looking at brand new fire trucks, you're looking at $1 million. Trying to get a basic ballpark figure of what, to let you know what we're looking at for money. And so we got Al and Doug, both a lot of knowledge on trucks and experience. Doug's kind of the head of the truck committee, so I'm gonna just turn it over to him and let him do his quick presentation, and
It's gonna be quick.
well, it's a start.
There, take that. Thank you, Doug.
Yes.
Well, you, Doug. So, Chief started the apparatus replacement committee. 4 members of that committee, myself, Al Magoon, Brian Ashman, and Mike Photo. This is the report I gave you. This is the one that the committee turned over to the chief. As you know, below this, the department members have stepped up at your request for the apparatus replacement committee. This is the result of your conversations with the board, select board, fire truck replacement during the calendar year 2025 budget discussions. Since its formation, the committee has met on several occasions to try and compile a narrowed down list of identified needs of the department. Several of the discussions have centered around right sizing our fleet, as well as just updating the vehicles. Right sizing serves to not just improve the vehicles in our fleet, but to also highlight newer available features to improve our ability to protect the town, and also assure that we have the appropriate space to store the necessary vehicles in the fire system. Right sizing also highlights unneeded, unreliable, and worn out vehicles and the best ways to dispose of them. Following is a comprehensive review of the vehicles, and I'll just read over this quickly with you. And as you can see on the back 3 pages of this report are pictures and highlights of each of those vehicles. We spent a considerable amount of time discussing what type of vehicle makes sense to drive the fire and that we could acquire for the current and future emergency operations. We also discussed which current vehicles were no longer useful to our organization and need to be disposed of. That being said, the entire committee agreed that the 1972 Ford American France pumper and the 1990 Ford Grumman pumper should be sold. The irony in this discussion is that we would be getting rid of the only brand new fire trucks that the town of Brighton has ever owned. Realistically, as much as we all would like to replace them with brand new fire trucks, fire department, it makes no sense to consider doing. The top of the list of reasons why is cost. A new basic fire truck, as those were when they were purchased, with the needed features that's outlined in the committee, would begin around $900,000. And most likely cross the $1 million threshold area. Next is order time and delivery time. Some of the new fire trucks being ordered today are out 2 to 5 years. Delivery. That's just unrealistic. And what's happening is they're finding out that when they do deliver them, price has gone up because of the tariffs and what having to do with all the stores that they don't fire trucks with. All of the community members felt that it would be a non-starter and made no fiscal sense for the town of Brighton to purchase a brand new fire truck. That being said, we recommend that our time and money would be better spent to seek out a good, gently used fire truck that checks off as many boxes on our list as we can find. Those recommended features are model year of at least 2005. None of our fire trucks were built in 2000. They are all built in the 19s. Diesel engine, automatic transmission, 50,000 or less road miles, low engine hours, what we call motor miles, crew cab for a seating of a minimum of 5, 1,000-gallon minimum tank size, 1,250-gallon pump size, side mount pump, aluminum body, full tanking system, onboard electric generator, approximately 30 feet in length or as close to as we can come. Normal array of pump outlets and inlets, on-spot tire chains, and should include standard hose and bladder complements. Acquisition. Fire trucks are like everything today. Internet shopping is selling is the way of the world. Unless you're lucky enough to know of a fire department that's getting rid of a fire truck, or have a relative belong to another fire department who's selling an older unit, you're forced to go to the internet. Even the monthly newspaper style publications which used to be mailed to the fire department have gone away. Once you get to the internet sites, you're most likely going to be dealing with a fire truck manufacturer who took an older unit in trade, or most likely you're going to be working with a broker, people that are out there and just broker these used fire trucks. For the most part, there are no used vehicle lots where you can go and see all the different units that are for sale. Most of the brokers expect sellers to hold on to and house the used fire trucks until they're sold. This may also include hosting visiting fire departments, come to view or test drive the full sale vehicles. The upside of internet shopping is that most often you can do a virtual up close look at a vehicle you're interested in buying in a live format with the ability to talk with the seller rather than flying to Montana to see the truck that's available. Or wherever it is. The problem that we have identified about internet shopping for fire trucks is they come and they go very, very often. No time to decide. You have to be ready and funded to be able to move on it. Much like real estate, first come, first serve. You got to be at the right place at the right time. The ability to deal with a handshake is gone. Most require a 50% down, which is non-refundable, to hold the unit in order to complete the necessary paperwork and everything that goes with buying a unit. It's interesting, we look at several online because we're trying to price where we could go and so forth. And a couple times you called and talked to the people and you called them back, and the truck was already gone. Very fast. That makes things a little harder, especially because you can't say, oh, well, gee, the next selectman meeting is in 2 weeks. We'll get back to you after that, because it's not going to be around. It's not going to happen. Disposition of older vehicles, sale of outdated equipment. Once again, turning to the internet. It's our feeling. And again, given the research that we have done, the 1972 Ford should bring probably $2,500 to $5,000. It might be better advertised locally rather than on a fire truck sale website. It would most likely be purchased for scrap or parts, not as an actual fire truck. The 1990 Ford, this truck could be marketed on the fire truck website. Recent ads show that this truck should bring approximately $15,000 to $20,000. Currently, there's an actual ad for a 1990 Ford Grumman, same as ours, and they're looking for $16,500. Cost. Replacement updated vehicle, using the features that was outlined by the apparatus committee, which I read through earlier, using current industry standards and recent sales information, is our feeling that we would need purchasing authority between $120,000 and $240,000. If you include or subtract our $80,000 replacement fund that you folks have set aside for us, that would be could require the ability to borrow up to $160,000 or find $160,000, however we do it. The conclusion of the committee is we, the main members of the apparatus replacement committee, stand ready to assist in any way and look forward to hearing the ideas on funding from the select board Our group is poised to search for new people as so directed. And as you notice, the pictures of the truck, in fact, I did the math, because I'm good on that on the top of my head. From 1972, it's 53 years old. If it's a 90, it's a 35-year-old truck. Neither of those are in frontline service now. Engine 2, that's 30 years old, is in frontline service and goes out in the station anytime there's a call. Same with rescue pumper 1, 33 years old. 36 years old on the ladder truck. Tanker is half and half. His chassis is 29 years old, but the body with the tank is 24 years old. And the others are just utility vehicles. But the interesting thing to note that we look at, it's probably boring for you guys to understand this. There's motor miles and there's road miles. Motor miles are really important on a fire truck because it drives to the scene and then it sits there maybe for 3 or 4 hours and it runs. Interesting way to highlight that is the ladder truck. The ladder truck was bought used from Lakota, New Hampshire. There is a calculation that you can do, changing road miles or engine hours into road miles. The ladder truck has 69,000 road miles on it. It's a 1989 truck. That's really not all that bad when you consider just the mileage. The engine hours is 8,149. The calculation involves multiplying that by 33.3. It actually has the same as 271,361 road miles. Really interesting when you start looking those things over and asking those questions, because that's a lot of miles. Our biggest push, the number one word that we've kept in mind as we're going through this whole thing is reliability. Reliability for the community. I've heard it said, actually, Mike voiced it to me today on the phone. We were talking. He said, yeah. He said, a lot of those trucks are just like, we're going to run until they drop dead, till they're no good anymore. That's a great thing to say unless they're coming to your house. Right.
So
Coming to your house, one there yesterday. So we need the reliability. What it really concerned me was, because I hadn't even thought of it this way, when I came and sat at the meeting last time, we talked about the town dump truck wouldn't pass inspection. If we had that with 1 or 2 of our vehicles over there, it took to get them inspected, and they said, I'm sorry, it's not going to pass inspection. When the inspection runs out, it shouldn't be on the road. We'd be in a world of hurt on any one of them.
So just to make sure that I am reading this correctly, you guys need to be able to spend somewhere between 120 and 240.
Yeah.
We currently have 80,000 in our replacement fund.
Correct.
And we would need to be able to have the ability to borrow up to $160,000. Mike, do you know your grants?
Well, I was going to say, I got a copy of this earlier from Doug. And so we actually have 90,000 in the reserve fund this year because there's 10,000 more going into it. So we have 90 there. Then I figure if you're selling equipment, I only assumed 15,000 is like what we're going to get for the 2 of them together. Hopefully. There is a USDA grant, the community facilities grant. It's what we used for the dump truck the last time. And I don't know what the current cap is on it. It doesn't say online, but the last time it was $75,000. And we do qualify for the maximum we can get off of that program. So it would be an application for that. Which would, with all of those together, that puts us at 180,000 that we would have funding for without borrowing, which would leave, if we had to go up to the 240 for the truck, that would leave $60,000, which we could borrow from the municipal loan fund from the state. That's where we borrowed the additional money for the dump truck. And that would be over 5 years, but it's only 2% interest.
For that, the grant in the middle there, you're talking USDA grant, do they have to have a VIN in order to apply for that?
I'm gonna see if they don't. That's why I was gonna ask that, if we're gonna go forward with this soon, I would ask the fire department to pull me a one off of the online site that's equipped the way you want with that price tag, somewhere in that 240 range, and we submit it. It's going to be similar to this because we need to show them what we're applying for. But, I will explain in the grant application that, it's not going to be this truck. Once we've got approval from them, we will secure a truck, and then we can give them that information. I think I'm trying to, I don't know if we had a VIN for the dump truck. I mean, we had an order and a quote and everything for it, but I don't know that they're going to require that for the grant application. So, and the
Okay, it
municipal welcome
sounds-
fund doesn't.
It sounds like we have enough money that if you guys need to make that cash 50% deposit, we've got that far, you'd be covered for up to 180,000 because we've got 90 in the account, right?
You've got 90 in the account. The 75,000 we have to apply for, which
Right, but it
would not award. I mean, if we put it in now, there's no guarantees. The deadline is typically in January for that, but they give grants until they run out of money, and it's still open, so they haven't run out of money yet.
Right, but what I'm talking
because
about
they
is
don't
like the
actually award until
non-refundable
September
deposit.
30th. Pardon?
If we had to make that deposit, we do have money.
The thing is, when you're buying a fire truck,
Right,
you're
you
not going
don't
to be able to
wanna-
make a deposit. You're not going to make a
Right.
deposit and wait 6 months to pick it up. They're not going to do
Right.
that. So we had the idea behind this is that we would get all of the funding in place, and then
And
we'd
then
say,
pull the
okay,
trigger.
we've got the funding. Now you're clear to go and make an offer on a truck. Because if we have the funding all lined up, then yes, once that USDA grant is approved, we can use a line of credit from the bank to buy it and then get because it's a reimbursement program. We have to prepay it anyway. But until we've gotten approval from them, we can't contract for it.
Right.
But September 30th is the deadline on that. So if we put it in now, September 30th, we would know whether we got it or not. If we don't, then they push us forward to next year. But, at that point, we may not be able to wait that long. But
So can you guys do that? Like find the truck of your dreams on the interweb and send it to Mike to have him help you or have Mike help you. Do you have the capacity to do that, Grant?
yeah, we'll get that. It's not that hard. And so, yeah, just find one that's comparable. I mean, it's not the one you're going to buy, but it's one that's comparable to what you guys want. And we'll use that as kind of a placeholder and give it a whirl.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That moves that one on. Now we have the ATV letters.
This brings up, is there a problem with the two trucks that are out of service, 92 and 90, if we start to market those? Get rid of them?
I don't see an issue with it. Do you guys?
No, so
Do we need a motion for that? Or is
Yeah,
that
I think
their
you probably
business,
should
isn't
make
it?
a motion for that.
Okay,
I'll make a motion that the fire department go ahead and try to sell the 1972 and the 1972 Ford American LaFrance and the 1990 Ford Grumman. Oh my gosh.
And I would add to that the funds from that will go into the reserve fund towards a new fire truck.
Right, that too.
can we get a second on that?
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Anything else before we move on from the fire department?
boys.
Yeah, right. All right. So now we're gonna go to the ATV letter, which is in. And I believe that is,
So did you give me that letter? I just have some.
is that you, Stacy?
I'll give it back to you. You'll need it signed and what's signed.
Okay, so
You want me to read it?
I know the
Oh.
letter's here. This is the letter. So everybody received the letter by email earlier this week. Did everybody have a chance to read it?
I read it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the letter is basically, I'm just going to synopsis it. It's a letter supporting temporary access,
Make a motion.
No, permanent access.
permanent
Permanent.
access around an obstacle that they have. Does anybody have any questions about it? Okay, then we'll take a motion to go ahead and sign it.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and sign the ATV ordinance to allow them to go around the obstacle that they need to go
Oh.
around.
It's the
think
letter,
it's
not the
no,
ordinance.
It's the letter. We
The
haven't
letter,
gotten the
not the
ordinance.
ordinance
The,
yet.
the
It's
letter.
the ATV letter.
It's- Make a motion
Okay,
to approve the letter
okay,
in support of the Vermont Department of Transportation opening an 8/10 of a mile section on Vermont Route 114 from the intersection of 5 Mile Square Road towards the downtown to ATV vehicles in order to allow access to town services.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have a color copy here.
I do
Okay.
too.
Or, oh, okay.
Bruce is
go
gonna
ahead.
sign.
Bruce is gonna start.
Sign hers or sign?
No, sign yours.
Sign
We
yours.
only need to sign one. Peter.
We only need to sign
I
one.
was gonna say, I hope you don't be.
Did you want, well, you're gonna get that copy. We're gonna give that to you and you can,
If you give me
yeah,
the.
we're gonna give you, we'll make,
We'll scan one for record and then we'll
Yep.
hand it over to him.
since he's the one that's gonna deliver it to whoever.
They use the damn road now anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
There.
You need to get that. Well, thank you.
You're gonna get the. You wanna copy that? Give him that. Okay, next up is the ATV ordinance, which you have in your packet. The ATV ordinance, and there is this lovely little portion which had come up a couple of times, that was approved but not done. And this is the one for changing the hours, correct?
Correct,
that
correct.
better?
That's-
So the request was made, I want to say it was last year, to move,
From 10,
leave it open from 9 to 10, basically, for ATVs. So that's what they're looking for, is that change from
9,
ATV to be operated in the town between 10 PM and 7 AM, Monday through Saturday and.
Not to be
Monday through
operated.
Sunday. Can't read apparently, and
So the
only
way
between.
that's, you're right. So the way that it's written is in the negative, which is probably wrong, but it's how it is. It's how it's in the ordinance, because it says that they may not be operated between 10
Oh.
PM and 7 AM. Because we had it two different ways. Katie had done the actual amendment adoption form, and it said, it was going to be open from 9 AM or from 7 AM to 10 PM. And it's like, you can't do it that way because the ordinance is backwards.
It's a problem
And-
because what happens is the state law says that you have to post roads that are open. But we post roads that are closed. So if you post roads that are closed, you have to say when you can't operate instead of when you can.
So we'd started that chain a long time ago. So does anybody have any questions on that?
the ATV can now be operated within the town between 10 PM Monday through Sunday and only between May. It just sounds like you're saying that they can't operate between May 15th and October. I mean, that's the way I'm reading it.
It's the way that ordinance has been written all along.
All right.
Yeah,
That's backwards too.
no, it's
Well,
not backwards.
Well,
That's
because
right. So
you're saying that it's all in the same
time-
sentence.
Yeah.
The time says you can't use it between 10 PM and 7 AM.
Right, Monday through Sunday and.
And that you can only do this,
Yeah,
that you
but it
can't
should
use
be-
it between 10 and 7, between May and October. So
Right.
it is a little weird, oddly written, but it is the way it's written.
I think maybe
Um,
next time we don't amend it, we actually rewrite the policy all the
Right.
way. Might be a better way.
Now would be the time to do it before we go through this whole process of.
Okay, so
So
18 gonna be between, that's Monday, and may only,
can we
The
swap it to
oper-
say the ATV may be operated within the town between 7 AM and 10 PM, Monday through Sunday, between May 15th and October 31st.
Right.
Sounds like
Got
it.
That sounds a lot more positive.
We can make that change and come back the next time.
Okay. Yes, because we
Yeah.
have to have the final copy in our hand to do the whole.
Good.
Okay.
If you, if we can we table it for now and come back to it? Because I could probably change it real quick and print it to you.
Okay. All right, we'll come back to it.
It's
in a few
already-
minutes.
Have we warned it already at all?
Yes.
Not any, I mean, just that we were doing the ATV ordinance, nothing, there was
Okay,
nothing,
so-
nothing specific.
So it's
Okay,
not too late.
so
Yep. Now would
we'll
be
come
the
back
time
to
to
it.
make
Okay, so we're gonna table that and pick that up again later.
Yeah.
Is who's responsible for the signs?
The ATV club.
The club? Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna move to the Lister appointment. So what's going on with Lister is we have one currently and we need to have at least two for the next steps in the thing. And we have I can't find the piece of paper with the name of the company on it.
Thank you, everybody.
Oh yeah, thank you, Stacy. I thought you were gonna stick around and let us get the ATV ordinance done. But so I can't find the name of the company in the file here. Let's see.
It's in the
Wing
motion,
EMC.
New England Municipal.
Consultant.
So they are willing to be the lister and are able to be the lister. And we've talked about, and a lot of towns have moved to using that where you have the professionals who act as your listers as opposed to not having listers. And we need to have listers in order to do
Correct.
the next stages in our reassessment.
Quorum of listers. And we only have one,
And what's the
One.
quorum?
at least two.
At least two, okay.
So any questions? Comments?
What was the cost? Then it's not as much as the fire truck.
No, it wasn't much.
We've already contracted with them.
We've contracted with them.
Yeah.
Do you know their cost off the top of your head, Mike?
Well,
I know it's-
this year you're not paying it because it's coming out of the reserve fund because we get money from the state every year. We will have to pay them after this year though, if they're going to continue doing that. Because it'll be part of their contract this year, which is already covered.
That answers your question. Any other questions?
Oh, they're a lot this year. They're because they did the whole reassessment. I mean, we just paid an invoice to them for $23,000. So I forget what the total is altogether.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, I'll make that motion.
Oh, sure. I'll make a motion to grant the assessor, New England Municipal Consultants, the same duties and powers of an elected lister until town meeting date 2026 in order to facilitate the formal property tax grievance appeal process, as the town does not currently have a sufficient number of elected listers to constitute a quorum.
We have a second. All in favor?
I,
Okay. So now we get that. So the passive grants.
Passive grant. We got our grant. We've spent all the money. We got everything in already. You probably saw the guys out using the new basket this week. They put up the banners and the flags with it, and they were thrilled to no end. The sign package came. They also got to use that. Their uniforms have come in, and I have the last things I'm bringing with me because I have a Amazon account where I get free shipping and I pay no sales tax. So I bought it here, so I'm bringing it with me next week.
Is that it on that?
That's
I
it
like
on
the
that
stop
one.
sign. Did you see the stop sign?
The handheld stop signs? I like the basket.
Yes. Yeah, they're fancy ones. They're LED light up.
Yeah.
You can't miss them, which, I mean, honestly, I've known enough flaggers that got hit that I'm glad we bought the ones that have that.
They're bright. They can see for
And I did talk to Nick earlier, and they are all signed up to get certified as flaggers because right now nobody is. And so he's got them all
Thank you.
scheduled for class.
It's a good idea.
Say, I mentioned that to you. Thank you for getting on that. Okay, so park lighting upgrade.
And I forgot to send you guys this. I mean, I'm approving it, but I thought you guys should just be aware. So there's been a problem that we've been trying to address for a couple of years now. In the park, the lights, people turn them on to use the basketball court, the tennis courts, and all that, and then they forget to turn them off when they leave. And so they stay on all night. And the problem is those lights then shine into the windows of all residents of Sunrise Manor. So they've asked multiple times for us to fix that issue. So we got a bid from Gray's Electric to put in timed ones that will automatically turn off at whatever time we set at night. And the cost for that, for 3 of those that takes care of all the lights in the park, is $1,175. And that will just come out of the park budget. But I just thought you guys should be aware of it. That's what we're going to do.
So would we shut those, like, I think, what's the ordinance? Is it 10 o'clock or 9
10 o'clock. We'd make sure that they go off by 10 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay.
Do they come on automatically or do you turn them off in the time?
I don't know. I have to ask. I can't tell. It says that they're programmable, so I think we can set it, but I'm not sure if they have where they can turn a manual switch on. But either way works. So long as they turn off at 10 o'clock, we're happy.
I've had a lot of people complain about that. And I know I've walked over 6 o'clock in the morning and turned it off, 4 o'clock in the afternoon and turned it off. So, okay. Do you have the ATV that we can circle back to, or we're moving on to town
I'll do it in a
manager
second. You've got me down for updates here, so I need to.
Okay. Yeah, town manager update.
So I just put these on here because there's a bunch of just little piddly things. So number 1, the library trustees approved the staffing changes we talked about. They're fine with it. So I went to their meeting last week. They approved the hours for Michelle, and they approved changing Katie's schedule. They were fine with all that. 10 Mile Square Bridge, we did finally receive a bid for the engineering on that, and FEMA has actually approved money for us to pay for the engineering for that. So that is going to move forward as soon as I get through the bid to make sure it covers everything we need. Last Saturday, we actually submitted all of our reimbursement requests for everything but the bridge on the second flood. And that totaled for culverts $243,312. Roads was $162,056 for a total of $405,368. That's only the second flood. The first flood I have to have in by this Friday, and I don't have a total because I had to go back and fix something on it. But that one's about another $150,000. And then there will be an additional amount that will cover all the hours that I've put into fixing all of this stuff on the FEMA stuff. My hours are actually billable to FEMA for that. So we will get another chunk for that as well. And anything that, because Noah had worked on it before and Greg Manning had worked on it before, I have records of their hours that they put into it. And so those all go into our management line, which is a percentage, but we're not going to get anywhere close to the percentage what we could actually turn in. So that's where we are on that. The American Legion, I approved their coin drop on Saturday. They're going to be at the intersection there where they always do the coin drop. Brighton Recreation has made a request to collect redeemable bottles from the recycling center as a fundraiser. And I'm going to approve that unless you guys have any objections to that.
Well, I will tell you that those redeemable bottles are a major source of income for the recycling attendant.
Yeah.
But that's not what that money's supposed to be going to.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
So the depot boilers are in, but once they put them in, we ran into another issue, and that the relay board fried out after the first time they ran it because it was old and bad. And we have a circulator pump that also needs to be rebuilt. So that Bucky already reordered the part. The relay board came in today. I talked to him. They're working on fixing that. And as part of that, we discovered that the fuel company came the same time that Bucky was there and informed us that all of our fuel tanks at the town hall, the depot, and the garage all have to be replaced because they do not meet current code. So He's working on a bid. We'll have to probably seek a couple bids for that, but that will be another project we'll have to deal with at some time in the very near future because they kind of said come fall, they're not going to deliver fuel unless we replace those tanks. So, the cement pad
I already went
outside.
through that at my house.
Yeah, I know. I'm like every time I answer the phone, I'm like, what now? What's broken? And then the cement pad out by the back door of town hall is tentatively scheduled to get poured on Saturday, but it's going to be weather dependent. And we did upgrade that pad. It's going to be 6x6, so we meet all the current codes for that. And I talked with Nick, and I'm not sure if he did it today because I didn't talk to him this afternoon, but they were going to, there's a couple low spots where they filled in after the work that was done back there where it was holding water, and he's going to have that taken care of. So there's my updates.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
Now-
town managers, what?
I said, now print your thing real quick.
Oh, okay, I thought that was Joel talking for a second. The town manager search update, we are ready to move forward with the next steps on that. So that'll get underway after we make a few phone calls. So we're moving forward on that.
What's the step?
The step is we have to verify a little bit of information with Vermont League cities and towns.
Going out for advertising?
Depending on what the results are from that conversation. Yep. So next on the list is overweight permits.
We have none.
We have none. Great. Pay orders. We have none, even better.
Wouldn't that be nice? Nice
I don't know where you
try.
want to start.
I tried.
Nice try.
Talk about font size here, folks. What's that? A lot of ink in my pen. I'm gonna get a dark colored pen that you guys can't see how much ink's in there.
Do you all want a copy of the ATV ordinance?
One that we're gonna be signing.
We
No,
just
do
need
you
one
want
copy.
one?
No,
Just need one copy?
If you
Okay.
can,
We already have one. There's only one change, so.
if you can email me a copy of it though, that would be wonderful too. So I have it in my email records. I'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
You or Heather? Do you?
Well, it doesn't matter. I think just go with.
All right.
This is the one that if you approve it, is that you guys have to sign.
That's the,
That's the ATV ordinance. Okay.
Mike, how many tanks did you say we have to replace?
3 buildings. I'm not sure how many tanks that is. It's all 3 buildings. When I talked to Bucky earlier today, he said all 3 of our buildings that the
And they're
tanks
probably
don't
big
meet the
tanks.
current code.
yeah, they probably,
Sure, there. I think there's 2 in the railroad station, 2 in the opera hall here, and 1 at the fire station, but I'm not sure.
oh, fire station. Oh, one, two,
Not fire station, the.
No, it's the town garage.
town garage.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Fire station,
I would
town
imagine it
garage.
would be
How
Two,
long are
maybe.
those things supposed to last? Because we replaced the one at the town hall
Not too long ago.
12 years ago, maybe. When we dug up, when we had the spill,
Oh, that one should be fine.
that's brand new in my mind.
Say,
I don't know,
have,
does it- I think, don't they have to be double walled or something now? There's some, if they change the code on them, and if they met old code but not the current code, that's why we have to replace it. 'cause
Yeah, but
that's what they were saying.
double walls is if they were in ground.
Right,
And,
underground.
and then
is
you
double
had to
wall.
take them out. You had to have them out. Are they inside now?
Yeah, they're inside. We put them inside just
So
because
they
of
don't
that.
have to be, I don't think they have to be
Have
double
him.
wall.
It's a,
I haven't looked at it yet. I haven't been there yet to look at them. I just talked to Bucky earlier today, so.
Downtown
we could
garage
talk
too,
to
those are
Tim
all
Angel.
outside, above ground.
Right.
Fuel tank above ground, one.
But the furnace tank isn't outside?
No, that's inside.
Well, what's?
That's their diesel fuel outside.
Okay,
The depot tanks aren't ancient either. We replaced those in my time frame. I know that because we had to.
Who went and checked the tanks?
who did the tank inspection?
The fuel company.
Yeah.
What, the oil supply?
Who sells
Yeah.
oil tanks?
how can you see?
Yeah,
They're not
how
underground.
about
They can't be underground anymore.
how about we send Bucky down to inspect them and
He
see
can't.
what the reason.
Bucky was there. Bucky
Inspect them.
agreed that he didn't disagree with them. He said that
Okay.
they're right.
Yeah, we should find out what buildings it's talking, because like you said, this is probably only 12 years old. I can't, and they're
It's been
inside,
replaced since I've been here.
right? And so, I mean, they're inside. It's not like they're getting corroded or
The
anything.
fire
Mine,
safety,
mine was going.
the fire safety, Tim
bottom.
Angel would be able to tell you whether they're valid or not. The local fire inspector.
I'll be back.
We'll get it checked out. I mean, it's not like I'm buying them tomorrow. It's just a heads up that that's something that's coming down the pike.
Nope, it's right here.
But it has to be done by this fall.
Just probably stuck together.
Right. I mean, we'll have it checked out, but if we do literally have to do it, it will have to be done by this fall.
Thank you.
Because they
Right.
said that, I guess Fred's has been on a hard push to get everybody to upgrade their tanks. And so they want to make sure that they're in compliance as well. So I just know what Bucky told me when I talked to him today.
Yeah.
I am not an expert.
Mhm.
That's why we pay those people this money.
Lisa, where is
Like
that
any word on
money go?
the water thing here? Any update on that?
To a
What's-
call.
When they're gonna fix that?
Which
Where
I-
does
you
the
know,
money
from
go that
the
the
one in the
fire
park?
department gets?
he didn't say anything last night about
Well,
that.
those are the ones that Rick
Because
goes to
that's
their
their
accident.
temporary fix.
Yeah,
He's an EMT, so he gets paid.
okay,
If I-
so
Yeah.
what about fire?
Fires, I don't.
They don't charge for that, or it's just accidents maybe, or?
Right,
Okay.
right. So that's just if the ambulance is, calls and he's a first responder,
Mhm.
so he gets so much for being the first responder. That was set in place when, we got.
Ambulance goes out, they
The
get.
ambulance
why wouldn't
goes
fire
out.
truck?
He's like
out of town.
He's like a jump, it's like a jump team. So he goes first ahead of the ambulance.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying, if the ambulance is getting paid to go to those calls, why wouldn't a fire truck get paid? Is it? It's something that. Just wonder how come that's.
Oh, you mean?
When-
the ambulance fee?
And say, you'll see it occasionally, like the fire fire watch and those things, like when
When they have to stay.
they mutual aid and they do things like that, there's some. That, I think that's all in their budget, right?
Yeah, like if anything, if they get paid for fire calls or whatever, I don't see it because they have their own budget too.
There's your executive session.
Oh, perfect, thank you.
I don't forget. And then you have to chase me down. I tried to keep you from chasing me down.
Did you send that copy?
What?
The ordinance?
Oh, Chad.
It's here.
Oh, it's right there. Oh, okay.
We gotta,
Yes, I
we gotta
did.
circle back there.
Thank you. Mhm.
I cannot wait till I get my eye exam.
Either.
That's a nice spot right there. There's our nice spot. There you go with that. Okay. So we're gonna go back to the tabled item, which was the ATV ordinance. And we have made the change to the section. What section was that? What was its number?
Section,
Section H. To now read, the ATVs may be operated within the town between 7 AM and 10 PM, Monday through Sunday, between May 15th and October 31st.
I don't think I signed that one.
Does anyone want to see that before we? It's the only change that was made. Can we get a motion to sign?
I'll make a motion that we change the ATV ordinance.
You're
Section,
adopting the amendment.
You need to, yeah, you need to adopt it.
Adopt the amendment.
okay, adopt the amendments of the, on the ATV, right here. Where are we? Oh,
Just change
There we
that
are.
wording in there to
Well,
after for
adopt.
vehicles.
I make the motion to adopt the amendment to the Brighton ordinance regulating the operation of all-terrain vehicles, stating that ATVs may not be operated within the town.
Uh-oh.
No, you know, you need to,
Section
that's where you need to
H.
substitute in the right language.
We may,
Go right back to where we were.
Right, no, I was like, wait a minute, that's the same
it may be
thing.
this.
Yeah. Two, ATVs may be operated within the town between 7 AM and 10 PM, Monday through Sunday, between May 15th and October 31st. Here you go.
And a second on that.
I'll second it.
Did you just take my signing page away? You took away my page H.
You don't really have to sign it.
It has a spot for all of them to
Seconded that.
sign.
We don't have to actually sign it? Then
No,
why do I have signatures on?
it's okay. You can sign it. It's just not
And why
required.
make everybody sign it?
It's typically done, but it's not really required.
Oh, we're gonna make it.
Don't tell them that, Joel.
See,
They
you
need to
guys
earn
may-
their money.
Buy me a pen.
Okay, so moving on, we have the approval for the minutes of the meeting of May 7th, 2025.
Okay.
You guys should have all received a copy.
Everybody's
by
read it?
Email.
Yes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes from the May 7th select board meeting is written.
Second from Bruce. All in favor?
Aye.
Any other business?
Yes, I have one thing.
Yep.
Yesterday with my food shelf, I had a woman come in with a handicap, with a wheelchair. She wasn't able to get in, we had to help her in. She wasn't able to get out because we had to help her out. And it wasn't because of the cement pad that's going in on the outside. We need to do something to the inside to make it a ramp enough so it's not steep where she can get in and out.
Yeah, and say that ramp does not meet
Code.
What,
ADA
what's,
compliance.
what's the slope?
I'd have to go down and read it, but it's a little more than 1/2. Because the current,
It's about 3 inches high.
Yeah.
Roughly.
You could change it if you want, but we're not gonna get any trouble if you don't. It's that somebody's gonna, unless she files a violation claim. ADA is enforced by there's nobody goes around and enforces it. Somebody has to file a legal issue
Okay.
with it. So unless you want to do a bunch of repairs for 3 inches,
You just can't assist her, Bill? Can we just assist her?
I mean,
She weighs too much to assist.
is the wooden ramp part or the cement part?
It's wooden inside.
It's because when you come in, you're on cement,
it's the wooden part.
right? And then it goes to wood. So the cement part is okay, it's the wooden
Yeah.
part.
God, I thought the cement.
It's
part
in-
was cheaper.
I thought the cement was steeper.
Right.
After
I
you
did
go
too.
inside the door.
Yeah.
It's where you'll see there's a gray 2x4 that's slanted
When you first walk in?
When you
when
first
you
walk
first
in.
walk in,
Yeah, that's,
inside the door.
yeah.
She had a hard time getting in, they helped her in. And then she ended up having to wait for Brian Maxwell to help her out because she was too heavy for Tony and I to,
Okay, it's the threshold.
yeah.
It's the threshold of that new door.
There's a 3-inch lip right there.
Yeah, well, we can fix
Oh.
that. That's easy. to fix.
Yeah, you can't have more than really a 1/4 inch, I think it is actually.
Yeah, let me go send some of those pictures. I'll go down and take some pictures.
And if
Well,
we're
that
gonna
was
fix-
just recently.
That was
just
the-
because of the new door.
That was the new door that was put in. It was,
Yeah.
even I noticed it didn't line up quite
That
right.
that shouldn't be a big fix to fix
Well,
that.
Yeah,
No, just a piece of plywood in there.
we'll get someone to take a
I'll
look
look-
at it. I thought
I'll
you were
look
talking
at
about
it.
like
I'm
the
there next
cement.
week. I'll
ramp.
look
No,
at it.
no,
So we'll
Mike and
get,
I already discussed that one. We got that one figured out.
we'll get that one.
It's an easy fix.
Oh,
Anything
yeah.
else under other business? I will say, if you didn't notice it, we've gotten our chips. They're gonna be spread out, so that's all taken care of. The playground. And tomorrow we're doing the, recreation is doing the tennis court cleaning with the, Brighton Fire Department. They're gonna come help hose it off. And then hopefully all the rest of the summer equipment will go out and maybe it'll stop raining.
Maybe.
Okay.
It snowed tonight, so yeah, it won't rain.
Do we have a need for the second? Not gonna snow
Oh,
night.
no, yeah.
We don't have a need for an executive session, second one.
3 inches.
So other than that, I will accept a motion to adjourn
Go ahead, somebody make, good.
Go ahead.
So move. There
So-
and a second. That's a bill on the second. All in favor?
Right. Aye.
Thank you, guys. All right.
Have a pleasant evening.
Thank you.
Too.
Sunny out there.